Hey everyone, and welcome to the Daily Dose. So glad that you're joining us this week. We're talking about mean people. Today, what we want to talk about is what do we do with those mean people? What do we do with mean people? People who hurt us, people who dismiss us. What do we do? Well, Michelle Obama, she says, when they go low, we go high. Jesus has a similar story for us. But first, I want to tell you a little story of my own. I was a camp counselor in college, and I had a week where I spent all week with 7 middle school girls. And I don't know if you've spent a lot of time with middle school girls, but they are awesome. Did you think I was going to say something else? No, they are awesome. I love working with middle schoolers. Their brains are developing, and they are going from the place of learning all of those Sunday school stories, learning about how they are loved and created and saved through Jesus. They're learning all those things, and then they're asking an important question. And this question continues throughout our whole lives. So we've got all of this stuff we've learned in Sunday school. Now, what does that mean? As I go out into the world and live my life, what does that mean? What does it mean for the way I live my life, and what does it mean for the world? I love that question. And middle schoolers, that's the age that they start asking those big questions. Well, this week of middle school girls, we had a great group of girls, but all of them were from the Brainerd Lakes area, and there was one girl from St. Cloud. Now, as you can imagine, that one girl from St. Cloud, she started to feel kind of isolated. She felt isolated, like she didn't fit in. She didn't know these girls. She didn't go to school with them. She wasn't in activities with them. She felt isolated. These girls from Brainerd, they had come with each other. They were excited to spend time with each other. And truthfully, they just kind of ignored this gal from St. Cloud. Now, I have learned a couple of things in my 29 years, but one thing that I've learned is that we often think that the opposite of love is hate. Sometimes the opposite of love is just indifference. These girls, it seemed they were indifferent to this girl from St. Cloud. They didn't care whether she was there or not. This gal from St. Cloud felt it. It was clear that she was feeling hurt and isolated. And at one point she said to me, "I just want to go home. I just want to go home." These girls are mean. They're mean. Well, as the week went on, I was trying my best to foster community within the team, and it just was so tough. Nothing that I said was getting through. Nothing that I did was making a difference. We were playing this game called Capture the Flag. If you've ever played it, you try to get the other team's flag onto your side of the field. We were playing on the Luther Crest mountain. If you've been to Luther Crest before, there's this big hill that goes down to the lake. You can imagine it if you haven't been there before. This is where we were playing the game, and as we were playing, I saw one of my girls from afar, one of the girls from Brainerd. She was running to get the flag, and she tripped, and she fell quite a ways down the hill. And as she fell, she cried out in pain. She cried out in pain, and I started to rush over to her. But who beat me to her but this gal from St. Cloud, who lifted her to her feet and said, "Hey, can I help you get over to the nurse's station?" So she walked her over to the nurse's station, and I met them over there. They sat together for the rest of the game. At the end of the week, we do affirmations together as a cabin, and we affirm each and every one of our campers. And all of the girls said to this girl from St. Cloud, "That made such an impact. Thank you for doing that. You made us a community. It made such a big difference to me." And I've thought about that a lot. This week in worship, we talked about this story from the Old Testament about David, who's meeting evil for evil. He's mad, he's frustrated at this thing, and so he decides to act out in anger as well. He meets evil for evil. But then he's reminded through this gal named Abigail that when evil things are happening to us, it's our call as Christian people to meet it with good, to meet good for evil. Well, this goes through the whole of Scripture, this theme of meeting good for evil, and that is one of the things that our Christian living is all about. In Ephesians, there's this great verse. It says, "Be kind one unto another, even as God, for Christ's sake, has forgiven you. Be kind." It's a great reminder that no matter what we are met with in this life, that we should meet it with good. we should meet it with good. Because our call on earth, as Jesus said, our main things that we got to live for is to love God, love our neighbors. So when they go low, we go high. Thanks for joining us on the Daily Dose today. So glad you could tune in. If you're watching on Facebook, go ahead, like, share this video. On YouTube, subscribe so you can stay in touch with what we are doing at Calvary. And for those of you joining on cable access, so glad you could tune in. We'll see you tomorrow.